Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to talk about utilities design and how we can accurately deliver, share our secure assets using MicroStation. So let's get started and see what our agenda is for today. We want to make sure that all of the assets that you produce using design software is accessible to all of the project participants. We want to represent accurate conditions that exist at your work site. We want to be able to integrate multiple data types because we have lots of different data sources, and we need a place to integrate all that information. We also want to be able to securely exchange information across multiple disciplines. We're going to learn how we can use some models to access our asset information, as well as ensure precise drawings which are consistent and meet our CAD standards. I'm going to start this by taking a quick look at open utilities, and I'm just going to do a brief discussion for those of you who are doing utilities design. This is a new product that's coming out from Bentley Systems pretty soon. It supplants our Bentley Utility Designer and is based on the same technology that MicroStation is based on. So the Open Utilities Designer has some key innovations in design modeling. It is essentially using a high productivity GIS-based design approach. So we were trying to help you reduce the price of your GIS maintenance, as well as integrate and design costing procedures. It also provides the ability to control the review and approval process, as well as minimize the number of software applications that you would have to use. The main features of Open Utilities is that it's a multi-utility desktop GIS, and it's built on top of Bentley map technology. We have optimized it for a variety of different design workflows, whether you're doing gas, water, wastewater, or electric. Primarily, we see a lot of electric use here. And what's really critical about Open Utilities is that it helps to design a process which improves operation and maintenance workflows as well. Now, this is kind of the basis for our discussion today. Open Utilities really is where you do a lot of design work, and MicroStation comes in and helps us with that last mile of work. So, let's talk about representing accurate conditions in your designs. One of the best ways to represent your accurate conditions is to use our context capture application and bring in the 3MX or 3SM file formats. So we start with digital photographs, and then we stitch those together using machine vision and other technologies, machine learning, to produce a three-dimensional model of your design. So here you can see a three-dimensional model taken from photographs, and then a Bentley design in the lower right. So you can integrate three-dimensional design from photography as well as Bentley technology as well as raster. After you do that, you can go ahead and use your GIS information to go ahead and actually apply classification to the three-dimensional design that you've created from photographs. So this is all taken from photographs. The three-dimensional design is created from photography. Then we classify it using GIS that can allow us to get to specific buildings. Then we can click on those buildings, kind of like just hyperlinks. The buildings themselves, the actual graphics act as hyperlinks. And then it tells us all we need to do, like there's some work orders that are outstanding on that particular building. So we can also go in and search for work orders and then highlight all the buildings. So maybe we're looking for a specific status for a work order, and then it's going to show us all the buildings on the campus that have that work status. So using the graphics really as kind of an interface to manage our data and all of the utilities that are associated with that particular building, for example. So understanding those real-world conditions is really critical. It helps us with urban planning and make sure that we are aligning our designs with the reality of the situation. Of course, really important for last weekend here, help us with disaster impacts to see where the utilities have been damaged and understand where we can start applying our work crews and getting people out to the field to fix it, as well as allowing us to understand the as-built situation. So if we have some technology or something out there that has already been designed and built, we can take a look at the as-built situation by using our context capture reality modeling tools. One of the great things about MicroStation, though, is that it allows us to work with multiple different formats. This is kind of an overriding theme throughout this entire session, is integrating any data type. We can work with 83 different raster formats, 14 different point cloud formats, as well as unlimited scalable meshes. So reality meshes can be produced from thousands upon thousands upon thousands of photographs if you need to, and there's no limit there. So we do incorporate multiple disciplines, and this is our way of making sure that we securely exchange information across multiple disciplines. We do this through our connect.bentley.com, and connect.bentley.com allows us to communicate our designs with our team members on the project. So with the personal portal here, you can look at Bentley events, look at your recent connected projects. You can share iModels and PDFs. There's personal messages, quick access to support, making it a lot easier for you to get to all of the things that you need to make your work with Bentley products faster and easier. The project portal allows us to look at a specific project that we're all working on. So we invite people into this project so we can look at project reports, look at project activities, see what the most used applications are, and then you can securely share files with project participants. And here you can share any type of file, whether it's a DGN or a DWG or a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet. Plus, this also gives you access to many cloud services that allows you to do project sharing, issue resolution, as well as deliverables management, plus much more. And the beautiful thing about actually the cloud side of the equation here is that we're able to push new technology up to the cloud every couple of weeks. So we actually do have a very fast development and production cycle that allows us to give you new features and functionalities every few weeks. In fact, actually a couple of these slides are a little bit out of date because we've already updated a lot of the stuff that's on here. There's also an enterprise portal, which is for your entire organization. So it includes all of the projects, all of the people within your organization. You can then get a global dashboard that shows you all of the project activities, shows you the most active users, shows you what type of software and services are being used, and you can manage all of that from here. So you can manage users, manage products, as well as manage software. So enterprise portal really meant for the administrators. One thing that I did want to sort of emphasize, though, is this project share concept. This is becoming a much larger topic within Bentley as well as within our user communities. This is really, if you can think about it, like a Google Drive or a Dropbox kind of concept, but it is twisted a little bit for the engineering and design workflows. So project share is a way for us to share, and it's really just simple sharing. You can drag and drop just like many other internet hard drive type of tools. There's unlimited hard drive space here, so there's no limit to 5 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes. You can add as much as you want to. But I think it's really important to understand that every single design tool that you're using, whether it's Open Utilities or MicroStation or ProjectWise or what have you, you will be able to access these project share areas, allowing easy sharing of data. There's really no investment on your side. You don't have to install servers and hard drives and maintain them. You can get rid of your bespoke systems that you have right now that may be using for sharing. And of course, it really does help mitigate security risks because you have people who are monitoring these cloud services 24/7 on the Microsoft side. This is all done through Microsoft Azure services, and they have multiple data centers around the world that are constantly being monitored for any security attacks. So much easier to manage that than it is to manage all of your systems internally. So basically, we are project-centric and product-aware. We do like to use a hybrid concept here of cloud and the desktop. Not everything has to go on the cloud. You can choose what you want to put on the cloud and what you want to put on your desktop. You can manage projects by very flexible methodologies of connecting people together. So you can connect them through servers, or you can connect them through the cloud, or you can maintain individual desktop islands, if you will. There's a lot of analytics available here so that you can understand exactly what the status of your project is, what kind of activities are taking place within your project. Plus, You can share any file format. It's very interoperable. It doesn't matter what files. We don't really care. We're agnostic as far as that's concerned, because we like to integrate any data type. And all sorts of built-in support. I didn't really talk about transmittals and submittals, but this allows you to keep tracks of project deliverables, who got what when. So we did send those sheets out, and you got these sheets, and it's this version of those sheets. And so it's an excellent way for you to keep track of when deliverables are due and what specifically is required to deliver to your clients, or what you might be expecting. So one of the things that we've done to help improve project deliverables is our use of our hypermodeling tools. This is really kind of critical to our new technologies here. We're looking at a method of creating sheets. So we have a quick method of creating sheets. And here you can see that you can just quickly lay down some sheets. You can add these sheets to an index if you wanted to. And here you can see that the sheets really are created automatically. They're automatically trimmed up to an interior, the given titles and everything else. So sheet management becomes a lot easier here. In addition, you can also come in and take a look at the fact that you can place some tables and do some manual sheet numbering, so you can actually come in and update these sheets. So now they're 501s instead of 401s. And as well as annotative design, which allows you to automatically annotate things and then report on them into a table. So you can take all of that data and then create a table that actually reports on all of the things that you've just done. So very handy. There's a lot of information. I think if there's one thing that we talk about when we talk about MicroStation Connect Edition, is that it is property-driven. You have property-driven display, property-driven design, property-driven everything. So let's take a quick peek at this, actually. I'm going to jump into MicroStation. So here we're looking at kind of a typical electrical parcel layout plan. So we have these parcels here, and they're giving us some information about what's going on here. So water hydrants and other things as well. So creating sheets actually becomes really relatively straightforward. We simply use a new technology called name boundaries, and the name boundaries technology allows us to take essentially what name fences were, if you're familiar with name fences from previous versions of MicroStation, and integrate that with our dynamic views or hypermodeling technology. So combining those two things, name fences and dynamic views, gives us name boundaries. Now, I can come in here and choose what type of drawing boundary I'm going to use. So I'm going to use a plan sheet. I can give it a name here, and then choose a detail scale. So, for example, if I chose this one, there's my grid. Right now, I'm doing 3 rows and 6 columns. So that scale doesn't look right. So let me try a different scale here. There we go. So that looks a little too big. So I can come in and fiddle with this and see what looks right for me. And so I can also change this around. So I can do, let's say, 6 rows and 3 columns, and that actually looks pretty good. So now I can come in and actually place this, and I'm creating 18 sheets at once. So just want to keep that in mind. This is what makes MicroStation Connect Edition so much nicer. So I've used Bentley Open Utilities to create this utilities design. Now I'm using MicroStation to come in and finish the last mile of drafting and do that last mile work with these great documentation and annotation tools. So here's my dialog that's going to allow me to create all 18 sheets at once. There's all sorts of different features built into here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone right now and click on OK. There's the 18 sheets that you can see. It's going to go ahead and process it. There's the last sheet. There's sheet number 1 to 18. So here you can see there's my sheets. So you'll notice again that it does actually come in and do some annotation work for me automatically. I can go ahead and add additional annotations and additional control to my annotations here. Customize these things the way I want them to be customized. So Let's take a look at a couple other ones here. So if I go and take a look at this one, there you go. All 18 sheets created in one mouse click. That was pretty easy. Now, going back to my original design, though, you'll notice that I have some trees here. And these trees are going to have to be removed before I actually start my construction project because they're in the way of my power poles, for example. So we've provided additional tools for you to do labels. Now, these labels are actually based off of a cell, and these cells actually are intelligent. So they're going to come in, and they're actually going to allow us to find out about these trees. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here. So it says it's that, but when I actually click, oops, I always get this backwards. Let me do that. That's the one I want. All right, try that again. I want the one with a leader line on it. All right, so I place the text where I want it to, and then just quickly change these. All right, already done that. And there we go. So you can see that it read the tree information. It knows the tree label. It knows the actual information about the tree. So I can click over here, and once I click on the actual cell, the text updates. It's property driven. I don't have to think about it. As a drafter, I don't have to remember what kind of tree it is and what's going on here. All I have to do is just place the tree. Place the text. So place the text, touch the tree. Probably change my insertion point there, but you get the idea. At this point, I can very quickly come out and do a report on this. So I'll just do it over here. I can jump to an Analysis tab inside MicroStation Connect Edition, choose the reporting feature. So this is, again, brand new stuff for MicroStation Connect Edition. This is all the property-driven reports. I have a tree report ready to go, and I can place that as a table. So as soon as I pull out here, it's going to go ahead and generate a table for me. And there it is. There's the 3 trees that I have. And all the information about those trees. If I make any changes to this, I decide I add another tree or remove a tree from, I don't have to chop it down, then this table would update for me. So this is property-driven reports, property-driven annotation, property-driven sheets, property-driven displays. I think that's one of the most important things for you to recognize about MicroStation Connect Edition is that it automates all of these documentation workflows that you've traditionally had to do manually. And let's face it, everybody did it their own way. I like to use some of these tools the way I like to, and somebody else would use the tools the way they want to. So it helps to keep everybody on the same page. Everybody does the same thing the same way. And I think that's what's really critical for us to recognize about MicroStation Connect Edition, that it is using one method to provide us with let's move to the next slide. One method to provide us with our standards and ways of doing our workflow. So there's not different workflows for different people. It's one workflow for everybody. Automatic creation of deliverables from 2D or 3D. One button publishing on multiple sheets. Any changes that you make are automatically reflected in the sheets. In fact, let's just take a quick look at that. If I go back to this one. There you go. I added this after I created the sheet. So it automatically showed up in my sheet. Once I make the change to the master model, it automatically shows up in my sheet. So any changes made to this master model, and specifically in these areas here, will automatically show up in the sheets. So very nice. It's keeping track of everything for me. I don't have to do that. So changes automatically reflected. You can enforce all the CAD standards. I was able to control arrow sizes, text sizes. I was able to control exactly what pieces of information I wanted to display with regards to the properties of the cells. I can completely enforce those standards. So if I want to, and I'm going to be doing three-dimensional work, I can see the two-dimensional sheets embedded within the 3D models for better contextual understanding of my 2D versus 3D, and automatic generation of hyperlinks, details, plans, and visualization. So lots of great stuff with that workflow. Remember, it's all about property-driven here. This documentation workflow is based on the idea that you have properties, you leverage those live properties for annotation, display, reports, tables. And of course, this means you're going to gain consistency and repeatability by applying the same CAD standards through templates, and simplifies the production of sheets, and creates all those properties and sheet indexes. So actually, didn't have a chance to show sheet indexing, but that's a wonderful way of keeping track of all your sheets and what sheets belong in a sheet set. So, kind of finishing up here, we do want to integrate all sorts of different data types. We have lots of input formats that are available to you, whether it's real DWG, SHP files, SKP, it doesn't matter where they come from. We support 91, well actually over 100 input formats and bunches of output formats. MicroStation is often known as a universal translator. In fact, many folks go to MicroStation as a go-to because it can handle all sorts of different data types. This allows you to integrate information from multiple teams without any trouble at all. It doesn't matter where the data really comes from, we're able to handle it. So, the idea here is if it comes from Excel, and it doesn't matter who's using it, whether they're in the field, whether they're in the office, you can exchange data, you can keep track of data, regardless of the different formats, whether it comes from ESRI, or Excel, or AutoCAD, Revit, or any Bentley product. This is all absorbed into our I model. The I model is the basis for keeping track of all of the data. So the I model is really kind of a PDF, if you will, for digital design. This gives us the ability to extract data from it. So for example, I want to get Excel data out of it. I want to do clash detection. I want to do markups. I want to take a look at different data visualization. So I models can be consumed by anybody, whether you're in the office or in the field, or actually doing operations and maintenance. They keep you provenance, they tell you where the data came from, and they're immutable. You can't change an I model. The I model is like a PDF. It's once it's built, it's built. That's it. So we support a wide range of data formats. So our ability to integrate any data type means support for 37 different vector formats, 50 different raster formats. When you include versions, boy, that number skyrockets, because we support multiple versions of vector, multiple versions of raster, and we support virtually all of the common formats using the real libraries for those formats, so that requires no import. It's native to MicroStation. So DWG is native to MicroStation, as well as SHP is native to MicroStation. Just as well as DGN is native to MicroStation. It's our format. But because we use the real libraries, you're not doing any translating here. They're native. We continue to support both versions of DGN and the last 6 versions of DWG. With regards to securing your data, the I model is a perfect way to manage your digital rights. The I model makes sure that your data is secure and your assets are being properly distributed with the right information, the most current information. And you can control who gets what in each file. So you can integrate many different data types. There's a wide range of information in there, whether it's geospatial or your ability to measure, your ability to go in and actually look at the actual information on a specific pump, for example, or for a particular pole. And then publishing this, you can also publish it to 3D PDFs or any type of PDF, and of course the I model, which provides us provenance. Where did the data come from? It's all self-contained. It's a smaller file, and it's fit for purpose. So whether you're working in the field, you get the information you need for field-based operations. When you're doing inspection and maintenance, you get the inspection and maintenance information to support your particular workflow. So it's fit for the purpose of your job, which makes iModels an extremely powerful technology. I just want to remind you of a couple other products that we have out there. Bentley Lumen RT. It's fast, it's easy, it's beautiful. It allows you to take your designs and enrich them with animation. You can generate cinematic quality images and videos very easily. It supports dozens of different formats. So once again, integrates any data type and allows you to share it. So using Lumen RT, you can produce animations like this. Trust me, you can do an animation like that in like 15 minutes. Of course, you need the 3D model. In this case, really all you need is a highway and the terrain, because you can come in and paint all the trees in. You can come in and sculpt anything. You can show nighttime scenes and daytime scenes. You can show transitions from day to night. You can handle all sorts of traffic situations. So you can see, you can have cars stop where they're supposed to stop. Very easy and quick. Believe it or not, the interface was designed with a 10-year-old. So, very simple interface. It shouldn't take you more than 15 to 30 minutes to understand how to use Lumen RT. So it's fast, it's easy, it's beautiful, and it's in real time. That's the RT part. So Lumen RT, really amazing technology. Well, that's about all I had for today. I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat window. Some folks have asked about file formats. The file format for Bentley Connect, MicroStation Connect Edition did not change. We don't change file formats very often. In fact, we've only done it once in our 31-year history. So no, file format did not change in Bentley Connect Edition. The DGN file format remains the same. Every other file format in Connect Edition remains the same. Those formats work in Connect Edition just as they did in V8i or V8XM or V8 2004. There is a question about macros. If you're using VBA, you do not need to recompile your VBA because the VBA engine, even though it's a 64-bit engine, will automatically handle all of the changes required if you wrote VBAs in 32-bit, which is what we did in previous versions. So 64-bit engine does manage that for you. You do not need to recompile your VBAs. That being said, you should test your VBAs before putting them into production. MDLs, yes, MDLs will need to be recompiled. Those do have a significant change to them in terms of the compiler. So 32-bit MDLs will not run in Connect Edition. You need to make them 64-bit. In order to make them 64-bit, they need to be recompiled using the 64-bit compilation tools from Bentley Developer Network, and they can help you with that. So if you've got MDLs out there, you can go to the Bentley Developer Network and get some help with that. In addition, I'll go ahead and type this in. You can also go to one of our Bentley partners for doing Visual Studio tools for MicroStation and 15 other Bentley products, and that's at novocad.com. So if you're working with MDL and you want to update things, or you want to even create new MDLs, even in V8i, novocad has some amazing tools to help you get started. So go check them out. They're a licensed partner of Bentley. There are lots of ways to learn, actually. There is some, how do I learn about all of these tools? Going back to Connect Edition, up here we have a couple of new tools available for you. One is the Connect Advisor, and the Connect Advisor is a tool that sort of understands what you're doing. So it's using adaptive learning technology, and the adaptive learning technology is providing us with the ability to understand what you're doing in the application and give you the ability to search YouTube, search all sorts of other places for it. We also have live on the fly help. So this is actually live from docs.bentley.com. So this is help that's online. It is the latest version, so whatever was published today. So here you can see there's MicroStation connection help. What's really interesting is that you can see other people's comments here. So you can see how people are learning about or using help, and they're going to add comments. So you can go in and take a look at people's comments on a particular topic. So live online help providing comments as well. Other questions? Okay. Well, if you have any additional questions or you wanted to talk to me about what we talked about today, I'm going to go ahead and put my name down in the email window. If you have questions about open utilities and want to see a little bit more about open utilities, I'm going to put in my colleague's name, Mike Horsfall, and Mike will be able to help you with open utilities. So myself, Samir, feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about MicroStation. And you can go ahead and reach out to Mike. And his name is in the presenter chat window, in the chat window. He'll be able to help you with open utilities. So, thank you for attending today. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for taking some time out of your day and sharing it with me.
Awesome.